When people ask me what kind of Asian am I, how I would answer it would be a nerdy Vietnamese American. So, because I don't know whether the person who asked me this question is inferring about my background, my nationality, or my personality. And if a person asked me, what are you? I would say I'm human. Because that's kind of a broad question and kind of offensive. It's saying, are you human? Or it's kind of like they're saying, you're not like me or you're not like the rest of the world. And what makes you different from, how are you different from us? My feelings on the first question, what kind of Asian are you, would be, when someone asks me that, how I would feel kind of good because they want to know more about me. And I'm willing to gladly inform them.
How do you identify yourself as an Asian American?
How would I identify myself as an Asian American?
Or if you identify with that at all?
Okay. How I identify myself as an Asian American? Well, being an Asian American to me means that your parents came from an Asian country and then came to America and they gave birth to me. So technically, I am Asian and American at the same time. Also, by birth and culturally, I am Asian American. Seeing how I do create my own culture, or put a spin on my parents or my Vietnamese or Asian side culture mixed in with the American cultures that I've seen. So I'm making my own culture without knowing it.
And while we're on that subject, do you feel like your parents had really taught you to be like Vietnamese when you were growing up, or teach you like Vietnamese traditions or culture, anything like that?
As a child, when I was growing up, my parents didn't enforce their nationality on me. They didn't force me to become who they were, they didn't force their nationality on me. I had the freedom to learn what America was, since they were learning it too. And I think one of the reasons why they didn't enforce what they learned back in Vietnam onto me is because they're trying to learn the American culture, and probably they think that since I'm young and I could learn faster, I could teach them a part of what it's like to be in the U.S.
So you grew up in an English-speaking household?
Somewhat, yes. I grew up with my parents speaking to me in Vietnamese, and I would reply to them in English, in a way that kind of helped them learn English at the same time, and it helps me to keep on understanding Vietnamese.
When you were growing up, did you serve as a cultural broker where you would interpret for your parents, or translate different documents that they needed to know about, or anything like that?
Yes, I was a cultural broker. As a child, I found myself helping out my parents, learning English, translating what the news reporters said on the news, or when they received their bills, I would interpret what the bill people were trying to send them. I also helped them send emails to everyone and stuff like that.
Did you ever feel like a sense of pressure in doing that, or for you was it not that much of a difficulty since you like had a familiarity with both Vietnamese and English?
To me, as a child, when I translated stuff for my parents, it was actually fun for me because I knew that I was better at English than my sister was. So it's kind of, since I have a competitive nature, I find it really good and reassuring that when my parents ask me a question, I can answer that better than my sister.
As a Vietnamese American, do you feel like at this point in your life, do you feel like you have the desire to express one side more than the other, or try to have some kind of balance?
I think right now in my life, I have found a sense of balance. I don't really have friends who are more Asian than me or friends who are more white. I have friends that are in the middle, meaning they are Asian American like me. They have, well, they have held their Asian side, like they do cook Asian food and they bring it and I eat it and I share my Asian side with them too. But we're not like being religious at all, or we're not pressuring each other to be religious in our own Asian way.
Do you have any other final thoughts regarding this topic?
Being Asian American is awesome.